All right, so what's up, folks? So it is January the 9th, 2024, and so I'm gonna do a quick class tonight. It is 10:57 at night, and I've pretty much been coding all day long. So I really don't have a lot of energy left for the night class. Oh man. All right, I don't have a lot of energy left for the night class, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I said I'm gonna do one every day. I did hop on a live earlier today, and I was trying to figure out how to make I think the topic of the video is to make a running box, right? So I wasn't able to do it while I was on, but I was able to figure it out thereafter. And you know, it's way more complicated. Well, it's way easier than I thought I was going to be. I was trying to make it way more complicated. However, I still would like for it to be a little bit more complicated than what it is. So this is essentially the box here, right? So we're looking at the swing lows. So these are the swing lows, and they are they have a strength of so many bars. So that I think they have a strength of maybe 10 bars on either side, to the right and to the left. So this is the lowest point. This is the lowest low of 10 bars to the left and 10 bars to the right. This is the lowest candle, and so from that candle we get a box that's created, and I dictated the size of the box, right? So the size of the box is the high of that candle and the low of that candle, right? So same thing here. This is the lowest candle. This is the high of the candle. This is the low of the candle. Same thing here. This is the lowest pivot. This is the high of the candle. This is the low of the candle. So essentially this zone that's created, this price zone, price box, I think I called it price zone, it is that entire width. And so that's what I wanted to create, and so that's what I did. I wanted it though, and I think it probably would make it a little bit more messy, but I wanted it to be, I wanted this box to continue on to the right, almost like a price line. You see, like I have these price lines here. I almost wanted it to be like a price line that continues on, but will stop when price crosses it. So when price crosses up and through that, you see this low here, when price drops down and then crosses up above it, then I want this box to stop. But I want this box to continue going as long as price has not yet crossed it. The only thing about that, and I could probably code for that, the problem is if we get a new low, we cannot then, as far as I understand, we cannot then run a new box doing the same thing here. We can only get effectively one box on the chart at a time. One rectangle, one ellipse, one I think rectangle, ellipse, and maybe horizontal line are the ones that fall under that that kind of limitations. So that's what we're up against. Now I might be able to make it using some other, I think like what they call the legacy version of EasyLanguage. So using, all right, I'll show you what I did. So edit rectangle, we do, yes, we come down here to edit EasyLanguage. I think I have it called price zones. Yep, price zones. Let's put that right here. Undo that. Okay, so this is called price zone. And then so, of course, we're using the EL system, EasyLanguage system, drawing objects. And then we are declaring a rectangle, rect. And then we come down here and we create the rectangle with the bar date time and then a low. And then for the second point, we have a bar date time, and then it really doesn't matter what we put there, because essentially all I had to do, because I was trying to create a method that would make it update and continue on and that kind of thing, but all we really had to do was go and say that if the rectangle is not null, so if there is a rectangle that has been started, and count X, so this just means that this is the same swing point. This is the same swing point. So if we have a rectangle and this is the same swing level, then we want to change the endpoint, right? So we want to set the endpoint as a different endpoint. The endpoint will be bar date time, and then it'll still use the high of that many bars ago that we started that swing point. That's the bars ago that we started the swing point, right? And so then if we get a new swing point, then we're going to restart that swing point count. But for the meantime, we're using that swing point count plus the strength or the length of that swing level, and that gives us that level there. So for instance, if we wanted to change this to where, let's say this, you see how it's referencing how this box is referencing this candle here. If we wanted to reference the high of this candle, so now it's going to capture 2 candles for our price zone, then we need to subtract one more bar from this number of bars back. So if we go over here and we put a -1 and then we verify, now it's going to include this level here. Okay, that high. All right, but we don't want it that way, so we get rid of that. We'll re-verify it. I'm going to just kind of save that because I like that. All right, and then arrays. So I was able to, again, arrays are something that I haven't done this year, and I just learned how to do it the other night. So arrays. For an array, so an array is pretty much like an Excel spreadsheet. So for one, a variable can only hold one value, right? And it could be an integer, it could be a double, which is like an integer with decimal places after it, and I think it goes so many decimal places. It could be a Boolean, which means that it's true or false, or it could be a string, which means that it just says something. So, or it has text. So in order to save multiple values to one specific variable, you have to use an array. And it's pretty much like a spreadsheet. So you have like a grid where you go 1 down, 2 over, 1 down, 3 over, 2 down, 3 over, that kind of a thing. So that's what an array lets you do. All right. And so when you have, like, I'm starting to count here. So if we have something specific happen here, I'm looking for a swing low. So if we have swing lows that happen on the chart, then we want to find out what I want to save every single low. I want to get the information on every low, right? And that's essentially what I did down here. I want to get the information on every low that's on the chart, every swing low that's on the chart. So if we get a new swing low, we're going to add 1 to the variable count. So right now the count is 0. And so as soon as we get a new swing level, it's going to be 0 plus 1. So what is 0 plus 1 is 1. So then count will be equal to 1. All right. And so once count is equal to 1, it drops down into the array. Count is equal to 1. So that'll be the first column, first row. And actually, forgive me, it's if you just use an array by itself, then essentially you're just using one column. So if you just use the array and you only have one dimension to it, they call it dimensions. This is 1 dimension, 2 dimensions. If you have 1 dimension to it, then you're just going like you're in a column and you're going row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6. And then this would be the first column. This will be the second column to the right, third column to the right, fourth column to the right. These are all the same rows. This is all the same row. Excuse me, all the same columns. the counts are all the same columns, and then this changes the column, right? The second dimension changes a column. Now you're in the fourth column. Now you're in the fifth column. Now you're in the sixth column. But you're in the same row though. Okay, if you have the same count, you're in the same row. But now if you have a new count, then you're in a different row. Let me see if I can, because what I did, I'm gonna refresh this. I don't think I saved my spreadsheet. No, I didn't. All right. Because I moved this data over to an Excel spreadsheet once it printed. All right, let's see. If count class calc date equals date. I don't know why it's not giving me that right now. Print swing lows status on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so when I add this to the charts, print swing lows, then all these swing lows come up, right? And so I put on here that I want it to say time, open, high, low, close, volume, range 7, because that's what each column is. First column is time, second column is open, right? So the first column is time, then open, then high, low, close, then you have the volume, and then you have the range as a ratio. So when I copy and paste this, now what I can do, because I'm getting more, I'm kind of like a mad scientist, right? So I'm getting more and more in depth with tracking and data and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to work in my favor. It's going to work in my favor for sure. But meantime, I gotta be able to collect the data, right? So then I go here and I go to paste. I do it as Unicode text. All right, it should have gave me a different option than that though. All right, get rid of that. We're gonna paste it again. Control, import wizard, that's what we want. Use the delimited version so we can use commas to change our rows. Go to next, we're gonna use comma as the delimiter, and then we'll hit finish. And so then it does still give us all this, which is, you know, essentially the first five columns, 2, 4, 6, 7 columns. We just put that at the top as our headers. I don't know of any other way to do that. And now we have essentially our table with the information about the lows of today, right? So now the question is, what can you do with this table in Excel to come up with some good ways to crunch the data? And I don't know how good you guys are with Excel. Obviously, I do some coding, so I like getting into the nuts and bolts of stuff. But even with Excel, you can do a lot of stuff, right? So, you know, just kind of maybe making a table to see what the curve looks like. So when you have this first low, this second low, this third low, this fourth low of the day, now you want to look and see, okay, is the volume of these lows progressively getting larger, or is it getting smaller, or what? All right, so here at 16:15, we're already at, 18:15, we're already at 6 o'clock. All right, so these here are all, well, technically these here are within market hours. These here are like pre-market hours. These here are after hours. All right, but if you look at the volume of these, 26, 202, 24, kind of goes up, goes down, and then goes back up again. Yeah. So anyway, you can figure out what you want to do with your data is what I'm saying. But in order to be able to pull the data from the chart, using the print function is a great way to do it. And using the array function is a phenomenal way to pull all that information all at one time. So I actually saved this, and I actually made this, go to File, Save as Template. I saved this as a template so that I can, pull it up quicker as I need to. So for tonight, I'm just going to really quickly, today was a bullish day. Let's see. I want to see. I had a script that was working on this time frame that was working decent for this entire move up, but I didn't adjust it, right? Because it was actually this one here that I made last night. And it after working on the strategy and after doing some modifications to it, one of the things I didn't want to see is I did not want to see a gap down. I didn't want to see a gap up, and I didn't want to see that the price had moved too far, too high above the 200 period moving average. I think the volume weighted average price was too high above the 200 period moving average at open. So I coded out those things, and so then it disappeared off the chart. The one that I did have on the chart was for SPY, and that, I think that's the one that we went over, that we made last night. And yeah, that strategy is still on the chart, and that one is still at around 66%, right? So 66% profitability on that trade, on that script. And I think I applied it to ES as well. No, it's not on this chart, but it should. I mean, it could be, because ES and SPY move in tandem, but doesn't. It's not that it has to be, because they are not the exact same. I can tell you that they're not the exact same. They're very, very close, but not the exact same. So if I applied ES on there, why are we ES? Well, I guess, ES is doing contracts and SPY was doing shares, right? So at ES doing multiple contracts, now it's coming back that, you made $43,000, which would be great, but 75% profitable, right? So it's even more profitable on ES than it is on SPY. So maybe I should be applying that to SPY, to ES, and I think I will. So we're going to go over to ES and make sure that the strategy, or at least even if we don't do the strategy, we need to make sure that the script is applied, which was SPY 018 24 minute long. That was this one. Okay. Pretty sure it was that one. But I feel like it wasn't. It's because we're on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, yeah. So it should not be on this one. So let's take that back off. Again, I say to you again, each time frame requires a different script. And that's why scripting does take some effort, because it's not something that you set and forget. Like, you got to keep at it. And I reached out to somebody else who does coding as well, and they pretty much said the same thing. It's like, you'll definitely have an edge coding in the market. However, you do need to change it, or at least update your scripts periodically. So again, it's not something that you can just kind of get and then set it and then forget it. you need to stay practiced. All right, so this is 1 minute, wait, 124. This is on the 1 minute time frame, and boom. Okay, so it shouldn't have got anything for today because today was a gap down day, and yeah, it should have got stuff for yesterday. Very good. ES. Why is the strategy on here? Yes, strategy 75%. Yep. Okay. Don't. I didn't want the strategy to be on here. I just want the script to be on here. And it is twice. So we'll remove one. Okay, and there we go. All right, good deal. All right, so let's see what in the world happened for today. We're gonna go on to SPY, and like I said, I'm over my time limit, so I already did the due 22 minutes. I'm good. I'm good for the day. All right, this gap down day, right? So come over here. I'm gonna open this up a little bit more. 1 minute time frame. Should we do the 1 minute or the 5 minute? Anybody care? Anybody wanna jump in and say which one? What do you want to do? You want to make a script for the 1 minute time frame or the 5 minute time frame? SPY 010924. This is 1 minute long. Okay. All right, so now we first need to identify the significant areas, and then we just proceed with finding out what the logic looks like on the SPY. What does the SPY like? Where does the SPY like to bounce at? And I'm not really looking for the small intrinsic kind of accumulative bounces. I'm looking for more of the a little bit deeper retracements like this guy, these guys. Okay, so I'm looking for something with more range, right? Yeah, I guess that's what you say, more range. So if I was to pick any one of these, it would just be this one. Not this one, is so aggressive, right? But it would be this one because from here it's the lowest point before it moves all the way up to the top. All right, and then I don't really like any of these, but if we're going to pick one, let's just pick one. All right, so anybody see anything we should be interested in? Again, I tell you, SPY, you know, and this is the interesting thing too, because when I look at penny stocks, when I look at different things, they all operate a little bit differently when it comes to their retracements and their pullbacks and that kind of thing. But SPY and ES consistently, one of the criteria, one of the pieces of logic that you consistently want to add for your pullback is that you're taking a trade under the yellow line, under the 15 period moving average, right? I know a lot of people do a lot of stuff like the 9 and the 21 and stuff like that, but under the 15 period moving average. So we're going to say that the open is under the 15 period moving average. All right, we'll start there. Verify. Okay, what else? We always typically want a bearish bar or a bullish bar, and range less than seven periods. That okay, and then typically I'm seeing that the volume is, I think I'm seeing that the volume is less on these guys. That volume is more, that volume is more, that volume is, it's creeping up there. That volume looks a little bit less than that volume. All right, these ranges are actually fairly long on these bearish candles here today though. for these pullbacks. Let's go. Range is greater than, we'll just say 75% of the range. Range of 7 times. You understand what that is, right? That's 75%. All right, so we're going to go SPY 010924. We're going to open that up over here on Show Me. So 1924, 1 minute long. All right. 1 minute should be green. Okay. And I made this yesterday. Everything just kind of melted away. There's a lot on here today. There's a lot left. All right, so that volume is more there. That volume is more there. And when I'm saying more, I'm looking at the average of the volume. So this volume here, see that dot there? It's just kind of jumping above the rest of them. All right, same with this one. It's at least higher than the one before, but it's jumping above. All right, this one here jumped above. That one there jumped above. So, and again, you're not going to catch everything. If you could catch everything, dude, please, you cannot get every single move in one script. Well, if you are, then you're putting multiple pieces of I'd say that you put multiple scripts together. Somebody else might say that you just have a very complex script, which is probably also true. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. But we'll say that ticks is got to be greater than V6. And one of the things I do want to look at here pretty soon is the amount of upticks to downticks. All right. I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing. All right. We lost this guy. That is a bullish candle, but it's a short body, short range bullish candle. That's why the reason why we still got it. That one's okay. You gotta risk there. You got this potential support there, that base, right? And I wonder, well, running low box. Just because I made it today, not because it's fancy or anything like that. Again, I just made it today, so now that I've got some of the understanding for the logic and everything, I will adjust them and make them how I want them to be. But just because I made it today, I'm going to add it to the chart. What is this? Running box of swing low. And see what that looks like when we add it to this SPY. I think we already know. Oh, why is it yellow? Yeah. One of the things I will say about these boxes, though, is they won't show up immediately because they have to have a 10 bars on either side of it in order for it to identify that this is a swing low. So whereas this dot right here will show up the minute this candle finishes, the instant this candle finishes, this will show up. The instant this candle finishes, this green dot will show up. So that's cool. But this yellow box will not show up until you get 10 candles to the right? So it's a good place to use as a bounce, but don't expect for it to show up there for you to use it as an entry signal. So, but yeah, we'll get that out of there. I just like to apply stuff that I just recently made. Okay, so again, just like this one here, you have an idea of what your prior zone is, right? So prior entry zone, so somewhere in there, and it does drop to there. This gives you a signal. You're like, it's close. Do I get in? Do I wait? I don't know, but it's close to this range, and at least it's not through it. And then same here, off of that resistance there, turn possible support. you got that zone in there. So all these are close enough within it that you'd say, you know what, I'll take it. I'll take a chance, and we'll put some risk on. So, one of the things I put on here the other night, last night, and I liked it. It was actually, it's not going to help. It's not going to help this script. It doesn't look like, because most of these are already low enough. Yeah, it's not going to help this script much, but I used lowest, right? So I said, what's the lowest? I said that it's got to be lowest low of like 5 candles, right? What you doing? What you doing? Lowest low of 5 candles equals that current, that low, whatever bar you're on, right? So it's just saying that out of the last 5 candles, this candle has the lowest low. So, and it doesn't change many of these because they already qualify for that. So, anything else that we've seen on other charts? That 9 is moving up. 15 period moving average is moving down. 9, 25, the green line, 25. Looking at that. That hasn't, 25 here is coming down. It made a turn. And the only other thing I'll say about this is, I've got this on the with no after hours. A lot of the times I do, especially like when I'm trading, I do have the after hours on, so I probably should have that on. It will skew things if you have it on versus have it off, because it changes your moving average, right? See how before I think we had that one lit up and this one lit up. When we turn that off, it went away. See, I'm going to turn that. So right now we got that one and that one, right? So we got this one and this one and this one. Let's go ahead and mark them all, because this is one thing that'll get me too when I'm applying stuff to my charts. So one, you want to be on the right ticker, and that's why I tend to name my scripts so that you do have it on the right ticker. And then 2, you want to be on the right time frame, because if you're not on the right time frame, 1 minute, 5 minute, right? And again, that's why I put the 1 minute here, 1 minute time frame, 1 minute, 5 minute, whatever. That'll throw it off. And then again, if whatever session you're on, that'll throw it off. All right, so let's watch this. Let's go here and go to regular session. So now we don't have the after hours. Okay, so all these are the same, and it will settle out eventually after the chart has been running for a while. But these first couple ones, they will be off. So after the chart's been running for a while, it'll settle out. But you see, it only changed about 1, right? So we lost that one. But either way, if you were to get in on that 1 and you were to take an L, then you'd be looking at me like, Eric, but why did they do it? Yeah, I'm just telling you, have the right session. And then depending on how much of a gap up or gap down it is, that will considerably change, these entries as well. So so I typically, like I said, I have the 24-hour session on when I'm trading. When I'm looking through a lot of technical analysis, though, I typically have it off. It just makes less clutter, and then what happens in after hours doesn't always hold. So, all right, we are back on today, and all right, we have that one and that one, and that one. Those 2. I mean, I'm okay with all these. I really am. If I could get rid of that. Jesus. What we got here? Let's see. If I can get my pointer. Draw mode, box. Yeah. All right. I think those are okay. These are not okay. These are not okay. All right, so we had a significant drop. We had, now I don't like, I never liked this, right? So a bullish candle with a huge top wick and high volume. That's crazy to me. Crazy to me. So and you know, technically, if you were looking at swing highs, depending on how many bars you have on either side, technically this is one also, right? So technically you wouldn't be taking any of these. But if I made a recent occurrence that said there was a bullish bar with a huge top wick, long range, you know, range is 2 times the length plus the volume is 2 or 3 times the volume. If that was the swing high, then you could say that you're done for the day. I mean, because I think trying to chase these is a fool's errand. I think trying to chase these is a fool's errand. So I'm going to say that this means you're done for the day. Now, I've never made a script that said that you're going to shut it down for the day. So today is going to be my first day doing that. This year, I'm having a lot of firsts with coding. So let's see if we can come up with that. Okay, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I know that I want to say that we'll make value 2 equal to recent occurrence. We're gonna have bullish bar, and range is greater than range of 7 times 2, and top wick is greater than, well, it's greater than half of the range. I see that for sure. Greater than 50%, 50% times the range, and the volume. So ticks is greater than 2 times the average of 6 periods of ticks. All right, so that's the logic. So recent occurrence would be the test, the length. We'll just say 5. I don't know, 5, and then the instance, and then the flag. If that's greater than 0, that's greater than 0. So this is actually going to have to be a condition. We'll make this condition 72. Condition 72. If that is greater than 0, essentially we're saying we want to shut it down for the day. So Okay, we'll say if that's greater than 0, if that is greater than 0, then condition 72 equals false. Okay, and so that's going to stay false. Equals false. We're going to do then begin. Condition 72 equals false. And then we're also going to say, let's see what value 72 equals 1. Because otherwise value 72 is going to be equal to 0. And so then that'll stay 1. Actually, that'll stay false. That'll stay false. Oddly enough. Let's just try that. All right, so we're gonna put oh, didn't like that. What did I do? Value 72, condition 72. Oh, gotta spell it right. Okay, that's that. Yeah. If recent occurrence if we have that is greater than 0, then condition 72 will be false. Okay, and then we're going to say so what's happening is somewhere along this chart this happened, and when this happened, condition 72 became false, and it did not unfalse. So we'll look back in the chart and we'll see that somewhere along the way are these our 0109? No, these are not. This is going to disable this. We're actually going to disable the script as well, just so the strategy. And what is this? Disable this. 0108. All right. Okay. So somewhere back here we should have that's firing, right? No. All right, well, let's do this. If time is equal to 0935, then condition 72 equals true. So that's just going to set condition 72 to be true when the time is 9:35, and then whenever this happens, it'll shut it down to being false, and then it won't fire back up until the next day when it's 9:35 again. Verify. All right, see, we got them. They showed up. So now when we go back to our current day, it should do the same thing. Yep, so we got the entries, And then when we get this bad boy, that is what? A bullish candle, right? Bullish candle. The range is greater than the average range of 7 candles times 2. It's way longer than the average range of 7 candles times 2. And what? It's got a top wick that's greater than the range, or 50% of the range. It has a top wick that's greater than half of the length of this thing. And the volume is greater than the 6-period moving average of volumes. Go down here. The volume is way higher than this yellow-orange line, which is the 6-period moving average of the volume. So once we get this, it shuts down the rest of this for the rest of the day until 9:35, right? So what happened here, this is the one that we were looking for because we had all these entries that were firing up and we didn't want those, and we didn't care about these because this is all chop territory anyway. So we were trying to make sure that we shut down after this, and we got this one. And I think there was one more potential entry. No, it wasn't, because we put arrows on everything where we had entries. It would have been nice to get an entry there, but we really appreciated that entry there because this is the longer move. So, man, that worked out good. I might actually have to use that. In my scripts, I have not used anything up until this point. I have never put anything in my scripts that said, like, when you get to a swing high, when you get to some crazy move, shut it down. I just still let it go. I let it keep running, and trying to find things, and then it gets into a lot of chop, and then that cuts away my profitability. So this is awesome. This is a game changer for me, really. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is, I think this looks good enough for me to put into a strategy, and then we're just gonna see what it looks like on the day. I haven't went back and looked at this back 20 days, and I'm not going to right now. But like I said, because I pulled one thing from this study, from this night class, I pulled one thing, which is setting this shutdown criteria. Adding that to my repertoire. I pulled one thing. That's all I need, is every day I'm finding one thing. Today I was able to make the boxes run. Yesterday I learned how to make arrays. Today I'm including shutdown criteria. Yeah, so I'm one day, one thing every day, one thing. All right, so we're gonna do condition 72 and all this. We're gonna copy this, and I don't know what this risk to reward is gonna be, so we'll just say something like that, and 0.03, and we'll see if we can get from 0.03 to 0.17. .03 to 0.17. Okay, copy that. Come in here and strategy and that and spy. 01, 09, 24, 1 minute long. Okay, with shutdown. Oop. Put that in there. Paste that. Got to get rid of this show and, because we don't plot anything. Verify. Boom. Come back here. Add the strategy. First. Well, so we're gonna add the strategy. If you've been following me the last couple nights, you know that we also have to change the properties for all. Make sure we have 200 bars back, at least. And then we're gonna turn that one's off, so that's good. We're going to come up here. We're going to optimize so we can get the best bang for the buck, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be close to those numbers, that 0.09 and the 0.17. 0.09 for the risk, 0.17 for the reward. Bada bing, bada boom. And actually, I need to take off the 10 days. So we're just going to put this on 1 day, and then we'll re-verify, re-optimize. 0.015, 0.045, 0.09. Okay, yep. Do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. And optimize, and then the report says you made $678 on the day. And again, trading what? I don't know. I think that's probably saying you're using a $100,000 account. So, because that's what it's set for. I need to change that. And I don't know how many trades. Trade size 65,000. But the most important thing that I look at is percent profitable. 50%. Not bad. I'd like for it to be north of like 65%. So with the strategy optimization, you can account for that. So the profitability, you can sort that out. And so the best profitability is right around 53%. If you go down to 50% profitability, then I guess you have a higher take home, which is 678. Whereas you see here, if you do 53%, you're at 510. You're at some different numbers. So 678 seems like maybe a good fit. Now let's see what the curve and everything looks like. Performance graph. That curve to me looks fantastic. So there are a number of trades in here that are losers. So why? 1-8. Those happen on 1-8. Well, so did these. And actually, it shouldn't even be pulling 1-8. It should only be pulling 1-9, right? It should be pulling 1-9. These are all 1-9 right here. This goes back to 1-8. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's because it's doing after hours. No. Bad strategy. Bad strategy. You better get back, because we know that Eric doesn't like to use his strategies for after hours. So we need to say that time is greater than 0935 and time is less than 1550. We know that. Eric doesn't play those reindeer games. No, sir. Copy that. I'm going to move that over to the script as well. My scripts should pretty much have that in the template, right? So let's verify the strategy. It'll get these after hours thingies out of here. Now we need to go back to the strategy and optimize again, because I mean, I was surprised at 50%, but I learned to stop looking for perfection. So anyway, so we took the after hours out, and now that thing looks beautiful. That's a pretty curve. All right, it's not a curve. Dummy, it's a straight line. That looks good. All right, 678. All right, and that is 64% profitability. So that's what I was telling you. That's what I was kind of looking for. Not only the 64% profitability, but the profit factor is about 6.65. Select profit factor is the same. Adjusted profit factor is 3.06. So if we go over and we look at the risk to the reward, we're looking at a risk of 0.035. Actually, okay, no, this is for yesterday. I was going to say this is the same that I saw yesterday. Okay, so the risk to the risk reward for the script that we coded for today is a 0.045 to a reward of 0.187. So, roughly 0.5 to 0.19. So about a 1 to 4, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, something like that. Which isn't bad. Is not bad. Tell you what, it's doing a lot better than what I do. So I'll take these scripts any day over my discretionary trading. Tell you that right now. But I'm excited about that. That's another good script. And like I say, not only is it another good script, but gave me an opportunity to add something to my code that I have not been adding to my code. And so just with this, I'll be able to capture a lot more. And it's not even that I can't capture the gains with my scripting, is that when I get to this level here and we do have some significant move like this here, I never tell my script to stop working. I'm still looking for these pullbacks, but now after this significant swing high plus volume, this significant event, you should shut it down. You should do something. You should do something different than what you were doing back here. And so now I'll be able to start doing something different. If anything, maybe I could put some other criteria in my script to say, all right, well, instead of taking longs there, now start looking for your shorts, right? So now I can do something different. So we're on it. We're on it. Night class is over, baby. It's over. We succeeded. I'm excited. This is all gonna pay off. Tell you what, it's gonna pay off. So once I put enough of these things together, then I'm gonna head on over to the prop firms. And it's just gonna be easy cash. And one of the things I did the other day is, as the market had started, I probably got maybe to 10:52, 11 or something like that, I went ahead and made a code that day based on that initial criteria. And then it gave me a couple good entries the rest of the day. So, making them on the fly too. All right. All is good. All is well. Guys, hope you got something out of this. Be sure to leave a like and just share this with somebody. I hope everybody gets excited about coding themselves, and we can start a whole community of coders. And that's what I would love. But the technical stuff, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are very advanced in terms of that. I'm not as technical with my analysis, but I can make a daggone code. All right, guys, this is Eric. I am out. Peace.